When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me. When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me. Hop in the roof, gone, feel like I'm too gone. Scream at the moon, dog. What would you do, dog? If you wanna move, dog. And people you know, they get so jealous, they want that you screwed, dog. You niggas so fake. Why don't you face it? We got the waves. I wave on a spaceship. I did me for once, and you couldn't take it. Since I can taste it, you know I'm the greatest. Muhammad Ali told me to float like a butterfly. Sting like a bee, Spike Lee said HG fight the power that be. If we don't, how the fuck are we? Expecting some peace, y'all niggas got me in Z's. When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me. When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me. All I ever wanted to do was be a baller, a shotter, hang with some brothers, had some bad bitches in the crib that'll swallow. After that, I just take them hoes to get some Starbucks. I can never get addicted cause I'm inconsistent. If you decipher all my words, then that might cause some friction. I had some trouble in my youth, but I won't get specific. And I just wanna save my soul, so I keep my distance. I deal with demons on the daily. Motherfuckers call me crazy, I'm depressed, they call me lazy. Cheer me on, that shit so shady. I found love within myself, I'm the one that fucking raised me. No offense to my parents, but right now I feel amazing. After I graduated high school, I lost my mind almost. It took me 2 years to find out who I really was. When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me. When I step up, can't hold back, can't show out, just show face, no hype shit, you know that's me. Can't do this old news, that backwood get chopped, screw, can't pass shit, I don't know you, bitch, freeze me.
Hey, hey, everybody. That is from my girl, Chrissy Wayward. Chrissy Wayward. Check her out. Now, it's been talk about hip hop, right? And who started it, who participated, who's 50-50. Well, we're going to go on a little journey today. We're going to go on a journey today. So, on this journey, I just hope, you got to put that famous thing there because it looks good, right? Let's just hope, for fair use purposes. This is all fair use purposes, and I would give credit to all the people. I will put the link in the bottom, right? I'm going to put the links in the bottom, but as you see, the name on here is Chrissy Wayward. She has a page on YouTube. Definitely go check her out and support her music and her channel, right? So we're going to wait for a couple of you more guys to get up in here because let the people talk. We always hear people all the time want to give us history about hip hop. They always want to give us history about hip hop. And they think we're supposed to run with what they say. They think we are supposed to run with what they say, like my age bracket or people that was in the mid 60s. Forget that. Everybody up until hip hop started wasn't there, right? So before 1971, there were people that was there. And then we have 1972. Again, we have people that was there. So they always ask these entertainers to tell you the narrative like people was not there. Like they say stuff like it all started here. See, that's something you have to be very careful with, especially when you're speaking upon New York. Why? Because each borough had a different experience. Each borough had a different experience, right? Mm-hmm. Different experience. So Fat Joe says 50% of the 50% of the Puerto Ricans own hip hop. Hey love. And then we have what's his name? Busta Rhymes says part of that go to Jamaicans. Now, as far as the Jamaican part, people have Jamaican origin. Yes, they do. But there's a lot of people from the islands, not just Jamaica. There's a lot of people from the islands, but their experience wasn't Jamaican experience. It was American experience, right? Because if it was hip, when you first scratched that first record, and if it was Jamaicans, no, they didn't use Jamaican music when they started scratching. And the Spanish people, I didn't know. We didn't hear none of that. So we're gonna get ready to get this ball going. Hey Nick, what's up, baby? Don't forget to hit that like on your way in. Hit that likety like. Hey Sunday, how are you? Thanks for showing love. Thanks for showing love. We appreciate that. And make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching the replay, hey, who, my replay people. So now we're gonna go talk about this talk that they're talking about, right? What's this talk they're talking about? Yeah, I know. Congratulations. Congratulations on your new apartment, sis. I know that is like, oh, something else to get all of that done. I know. But I take it day by day. So you could do. You ain't in a rush. You moved in. You ain't got to rush. Take your time. Take your time, baby. But I want to start off with this. I don't even know where I'm going to start. We're going to be doing a lot of bouncing, right? We're going to be doing a lot of bouncing. A lot of bouncing we're going to be doing. I don't even know which way to start from. All right, we're going to start right here. Right? We're going to start right here because this is the argument. This video comes from D. Tugman. D-E-E Tugman. Remember, it's only going to be parts. It's not going to be the whole thing. But again, we got to give credit where it's due. So that's from D. Tugman. Check her channel out. I will drop the link at the end. I'll add all of the people in there. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. Now, hey, I'm Danny. Pop on, pop. Well, I'm Danny. Pop top of tings. Hey, Paula. Pon top of tings, baby. Now, like I said, we're gonna be all over the place. Cause see, hip hop, even though we made it like really, really like New York, but in all reality, we're gonna just keep it all the way real. We only learned from our forefathers, right? We only learned from our forefathers. So the biggest key that they're leaving out of majority of New York people, oh Lordy, majority of New York people, their heritage or their people come from the South, right? That's the part people are failing to remember. A lot of us, we migrated down to the East. But most of our families come from out of the South. So by the time a lot of people came to New York, a lot of things they got from the South. That's why I don't know why y'all people from the South be all mad. Just that we cut it and scratched it up and everything, but we still took from each other. I don't know why we choose to keep separating each other. But there's no need to keep separating each other. We are all one. We all started from the South. Some place in that South we all started from before we went to California, before we went to all these places, we started from the South. Even though we was put different places, but majority. Let me just say majority for some historian want to come try to correct me. But majority of us migrated from the South. That's where majority of our grandmamas, great grandmamas, great grandmamas is from, right? Then they started making a way. So Fat Joe decides to say that 50% of hip hop belongs to Puerto Ricans. So we want to figure out how. How? So let's go. Oh Lord, I done snapped it off. I thought I was snapped it on. I snapped it off. I'm gonna snap it right back on for you. Let's go.
Dude, like really with a big voice. Fuck that. And Latinos wasn't there. You was invited. You are a specimen. I don't know what the fuck is up with these people. They don't know their facts. And so out of nowhere this morning, somebody sent it to Tony Sunshine. Sonny sent it to me. I got a little video I posted. And it's only a few Latinos in hip hop. And we got the drum beat going, and this talks about Charlie Chase and Ruby D and Whitney Witt and this. These are all. And so what I notice is history is history.
And Jamaicans invented hip hop. This whole hip hop shit was birthed from Jamaica. Like Kool Herc is a Jamaican nigga. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The whole concept of having big ass speakers stockpiled on top of each other and playing loud ass music outside, that come from Jamaica. That's dancehall culture. Mm-hmm. You know,
that's how
so
was
Kool Herc brought dancehall culture to the U.S. and gave birth to hip hop culture. The only thing that changed was the type of music that was played, and
how did it change then?
How it was played.
No,
but the concept is the same.
No, sir.
Puerto Ricans was part of hip hop from the beginning. Like, people like Busta will tell you we was there in the South Bronx.
The origin of hip hop was started of black and Puerto Rican people. We created the greatest culture in the world, and it's called hip hop.
Our influence is embedded in the culture already, so facts is facts.
B-boying, we're saying it is a combination of blacks and Puerto Ricans together. But make no mistake about it, before that is the rock dance. And the rock dance comes from the Latino community, mostly
we're gonna go through it today.
And so this whole notion that, you know, everything in hip hop begins with the African African American is a lie. That is not the truth. It is a combination of Caribbeans, African Americans, and Puerto Ricans are Caribbean anyway.
You know I muted by mistake. Leave me alone, Nicole. I
said
can't
to myself,
stand you.
I'm never going to get my foot in the door as Carlos Mendez because it's just hip hop. You know, you got Flash, you got Theodore, you got all these cats, and they're all black. You know, I like playing this music, but I'm Spanish. I'm not going to be accepted if I go out there as DJ Carlos Mendez. Just to name.
I ain't got no ginger ale or cookies, Danny. I ain't got
like the Latinos, you know, Moreno means black, you know, they be like, yo, that's that Moreno style, you know, and that's the original style of B-Boy.
That's it. It makes sense that Kaz ended up with Charlie Chase anyway, because Charlie Chase's earlier girlfriends were all Puerto Rican.
No, that was me this time.
What the heck does that have to do he loves Puerto Rican. Kaz loves Puerto Rican. All right, I'm gonna ask you guys a serious question. It's up to you guys if you want to answer or not. Do you think we had to be officially sanctioned by black people to get into the space that we're in now with hip hop? No, because back then, I never, like, you know, as much as I look, first of all, I was like 10, 11 years old when I first saw Charlie Chase. Mm-hmm. I didn't know why I was drawn to him. I can't say it was because he was Puerto Rican, because the dope thing about hip hop back in the 70s is just that you had to be dope. That's it. We all shared the same projects, the same beatdowns from the cops, and same poverty and all that stuff. So the geography of New York and the way we're stacked up on each other, it makes us one big family. So even where I lived over on Montgomery Avenue on the west side of the Bronx, my mom's best friends were black. And I get it. And so if we had a party, they would come in and dance at salsa and dance to Barry White and all that other stuff. So we shared the same existence.
Throughout everything.
Yeah.
School, everything. I mean, I think what you're trying to say was, did we need the black artists to validate us in the business, right?
You know why? Because for myself, I always thought that's what separated me from my other Latino brothers and sisters in the game. And remember, I'm not coming from the 70s. I'm coming in the early 90s, right? And so me being so crazy. I'm listen, people, look, me being down with Danny.
We're gonna go there, baby.
Notorious Biggs, DJ. All these were black entities, and it separated me from all my other Hispanic guys. So then, when I was in the black space, no one ever questioned or doubted my dopeness or what I brought to the table, because I was sanctioned by these big things. That's why I asked you if I think you were sanctioned by your dopeness. No,
oh Lordy, hold on. Now, what is a turn? Paula, what is a turntable? What is a turntable? Okay. What is a turntable? Oh, Lord, I thought y'all were dropping something. Shucks. It's too bad that Jack. No, we ain't even talking about that right now. We talking about hip hop. We ain't talking about that right now. Now, she says, turntables started in Jamaica. What is a turntable is the question. What is a turntable? If it started in Jamaica, a turntable, you will have to now say, what is a turntable? You will now have to say they created a record player. You will have to say they are the ones who created the record player. So that would debunk that. That is debunked. But remember, I'm going somewhere, but I'm gonna let them say what they have to say first. Then we're going down memory lane. Okay? But let them speak first. Exactly. So it was not created in Jamaica, right? Did that mean it was not created? You just thank you. France created it. So France created the record player, right? So then that was still debunk that Jamaicans did it. Jamaicans were reversed. No, ma'am. I'm going to take you on the journey. I tell you, I was there. That's why I said, let the people speak. I was there. And I know people who was there before me. But let's go through this journey. And then hopefully this will stop a lot of rap, hip hop beef between the states, east side, west side, south. We all came from some part of the South, some parts of the South. We all migrated from there. You understand? So everything is our culture. Everything is our culture, right? Somebody playing records on as what they would say, turntable or record player, that's just playing music. That's just playing music. There ain't no cutting and scratching there. And when they was cutting and scratching, well, who music was they playing? Paula, well, who music was they playing? Nick, you can't talk about them. That's right. No, please don't talk about them. When I switch on over, when we switch over to the other side, y'all can do whatever y'all want. But I want to keep this right here. Keep this right here.
I believe that. But I'm just saying,
trash, forget it.
But I'm just saying on top of it. It's just like the extra check.
Well, you know, coming from where I come from, I never even thought of it that way. Like, you know, all my life, my best friends were black. All my life. I played in black bands, funk bands, rock bands. I mean, I played, so it was all natural to me. Now, as far as the music goes, Latin music and funk music, R&B music, it all has a type of swing, a relative swing to it.
Roots
so
anyway.
it came, funk and R&B came music very naturally to it. Play a Latin record and black people around tell me they ain't gonna move.
They're gonna move.
It's the natural thing, man. You know. So I never even realized that there was this whole thing between black and Hispanics until much later on. Now, like, and they're getting up and clapping and all this, and I'm like, what? Because I never thought like that.
You were baffled behind the
car.
They're just bigging you up, but at the same time,
they
you're
were
baffled.
bigging me up. It wasn't an insult.
Just the way it is. When they saw the dark skinned tribe, they were like, what is that? Who are they? It's just natural. It's not like we're trying to disrespect each other, but it's just natural.
It is. You know what makes it confusing for me? Because, you know, as a kid, I wore my afro proud. You know, that's just picked out everything. No product, no curl activator, nothing.
That's it.
But, you know, if you trying to go through, let's say you're going to go to White Castle in the Bronx, but you Little Italy's in between, I had to go all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. There's no way I could walk through Little Italy. So the way
we talked about that before.
Yeah, the way it is in like a Bronx Tale was exactly like that. Maybe he could walk through there because he's a famous DJ.
history of the
History's
culture and the
history.
history of how it
Latinos and
started.
blacks created hip hop. It's every element of hip hop. It was 50-50, bro.
Now, let's see a little something. Let's see a little shot. Let's go.
And where my army at, rather attack and not react. Back to beats, it don't reflect on how many records get sold on sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Whether your projects put on hold in the real world. These just people with ideas. They just like me and you with a smoke and cameras. Disappear again, and just say it. But then if you who shot Biggie Smalls if we don't how much money they got? Nigga, all y'all records sound the same. I'm sick of that.
American created in hip hop. I'll wait. You as a black American thinks it comes. I'll wait. You as a black
radio, same scenes in the video, monotonous material. Y'all don't hear me though.
Tell me one thing a foundational black American created in hip hop. I'll wait. You as a black American thinks it comes from you.
Out, you know, no. Puerto Rican wasn't doing that. Bitch. Being that I hear what y'all saying, but I'm gonna tell you, y'all gotta remember, Kirk, yes, he is, his origin is from Jamaica, but he influenced by black, he was influenced by the black folks in America, number one. Number two, people gotta, besides the elements that our heritage already been doing, when it gets down to New York, every borough did their own thing. Even if Kool Herc was scratching up in the Bronx, we was doing our own thing in Brooklyn. Queens was doing their own thing. Long Island was doing their own thing. People forget that playing a party, yes, he did. But we wasn't invited to the party. We didn't know nothing about the party. People in Brooklyn was doing, we already had our music playing too. We had our own parties too with a DJ. But we let them put the stamp on it, but we wasn't there. They call it hip hop. No, our forefathers we both was doing the same damn thing. Hip hop, the music itself is coming from disco, R&B, doo-wop, and jazz, which they played no part in that. We were doing the same thing. We Our parents told us, listen, you better stay outside. When I call you out that window, you better come upstairs. So everybody in New York bought the music outside. We didn't know what the heck they were doing in Jamaica. We don't know nothing about their speakers. We knew what we was doing in New York. There wasn't no Instagrams. There wasn't no social media. So we was doing what we been was doing. So Herc was doing what we were doing. He did not bring the influence of Jamaica to them turntables. He brought the influence of my people to them turntables. All he did was play a record and had a party. That was in the Bronx. It ain't like we wasn't doing nothing in Brooklyn until that came to Brooklyn. It was all, we're going to get into the different boroughs too. I may do a part 2. But I got to show you what we was doing in Brooklyn. I got to show you what they was doing in Queens. I got to show you what they was doing in Long Island. See, people, that's why I say you got to let the people speak. Because people, no, you can't go back and forth. We were there. We knew what we was doing. Yeah, they was partying out there on Sackwick. Yeah, we hear that. But we wasn't partying with them. It wasn't on the radio. We was jamming outside too with a DJ. We're going to get to that too. It's a lot of things that they are missing. And as far as a big speaker, it may be the same because everybody outside, somebody bought a speaker outside. But back then, that all started from everybody that go to the park. Depending on where you live, you was like right outside. It started with somebody putting some music in the window and everybody was jamming. And the next thing you know, they made friends with, if you lived in a building, they made friends with whoever lived on the first floor and they asked, can they use the electricity? And we got them extension cords together. And then somebody bought the crates and the 2 turntables together. And the 2 turntables was only because when one song finished, we didn't want to play the next one. We'll go right into the next one. See, we tired of these historians telling the shit wrong. They tell it wrong. Like we not still living to tell the story, the real story. So I don't care where you came from. It don't matter where you came from. You were still influenced by American Black people. Because if you was influenced by your people, the first record you would have scratched would have been a Jamaican song. No, you was influenced by our people. Wasn't no Jamaica, and when you was cutting up on Saturday, you was cutting up our shit. All them dances that, even from the graffiti, us Black Americans did it. Every element, we did it first. We were already doing it. Down to doo-wop. And the doo-wop story is the same exact story of the hip-hop story. How did doo-wop come about is the same reason how hip-hop came about. If we're going to tell a story, we're going to tell the whole correct story. There's a lot of names that's not going to be mentioned because there's plenty of freaking DJs. It was plenty of DJs. If you grew up in New York, majority of everybody, all the guys who play music, name was DJ. So they would not go down in history. But that doesn't take it away from our memory. It doesn't take it away from our memory. Now let's go. As you see, all the break dancing and stuff, as you can see, we done. Look what year this is, the 40s and the 50s. We ain't even get to hip hop yet, but we doing it. Let's go. That's 1955.
My father would let me go to Sandman's his school. He said, have it right on 25th Street, early 70s. He would not let me go. So I didn't learn how to tap.
I always wanted
learn how to tap dance. That's the one thing I've always wanted. Because if I'd have had to learn how to tap dance, I'd have been cutting their ass with that tap dance too. I just never did.
See, I was already a dancer since I was like 5 years old. Because I used to dance for a guy named Peg Leg Bates. He used to dance for Ed Sullivan.
Peg Leg Bates. Let's go.
Favorites, no question, other than Jazz Browns, was they were brothers, the Nicholas brothers.
My favorite is obviously the Nicholas brothers, but I'll be on the floor and I can propel myself with my feet in a way where I can move forward.
Okay.
And I would do it in a way where I was like steering wheel, it was like a car. Like I was driving a car and propel across the floor. Things like that.
The U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture
When you say something, but you know you lying, let's go, Buster.
is for the U.S., but it's a mix-up of all of our cultures in the urban community. You know, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence.
See you suck my back, it's around my neck. Whoa-ha! Got the molded check. See you suck my back, it's around my neck. Whoa-ha! Got the molded check.
When I step up in the place, and yo, I step correct. Whoa-ha! Got you all in check. I got that head nod shit that make you work your neck. Whoa-ha! I got you all in check.
Now, we're gonna debunk a lot of ish today. We're gonna debunk it, baby. We're gonna debunk it. Cause I don't care what part of the 50 states you in, we all get credit. All us black American blacks gonna get this credit. And a lot of us too got heritage in the Caribbean. But the Caribbean, we didn't, once a lot of them left and they came to America, you adapted America culture. Now, let's go. Like I said, we're gonna be moving all around the board. We're gonna be moving all the way around the board, baby. Who knows where we're gonna stop? No, we go here, we go, here we go. We're gonna stop. Nobody knows. This is, what is that? Stanio. Let's go.
In 1917, the first jazz recording was released, which led to the genre's rise in popularity during the Jazz Age. Jazz vocalists began.
Did we hear the word? Did we hear the year 1917? 1917. Let's go.
And developing a new vocal technique that allowed for improvising melodies and rhythms. This vocal technique is called scatting. Scatting was sort of meant to mimic the bluesy and improvised stylings of jazz musicians. Though scatting had originated earlier in the century, the first modern jazz standard to employ scatting was Louis Armstrong's 1926 Heebie-Jeebies. Louis would also use scatting in his 1928 rendition of West End Blues. In the 1930s, a new form of jazz known as swing became popular. This subgenre featured big band arrangements that included heavy and funky drumming. The drumming was much predecessor to funk music. In the 40s, along came a group known as the Jubilaires. They were known for incorporating rhythmic chants in their verses. Their 1946 song Noah is cited as the very first recorded rap.
Hey, children, stop, still, and listen to me. God walked down to the Bandit Sea. He declared that he was the son of man, and then he decided to destroy the land.
Their music was heavily influenced by African spirituals, a form of gospel music that often uses chanting. These types of rhythmic vocals would lay down the foundation for what we understand as modern rap. But the hip-hop portion had not been realized at this point. There was still more to come that would introduce signature elements. Also in the 1940s, a new form of jazz called bebop was realized. Bebop featured fast tempos, complex...
In certain hip-hop songs, you will hear the word bebop. Don't stop. Bebop, don't stop. Now, if you're an old hip hop historian, you will understand. Now you know what bebop is, but it was already put in the music.
Chord progressions and instrumental virtuosity. It was originally meant to be musicians' music, which demanded close listening rather than dancing. It wasn't until the 50s when jazz musicians realized they could make bebop danceable. They created hard bop. This genre pulled influence from gospel and R&B, which allowed jazz drummers to improvise a lot of funky grooves at a slower tempo for a more loose performance. Hard bop was also known as funky hard bop. Many jazz drummers in the 50s were utilizing these funky drums. During that decade, West Coast jazz was created in response.
Now, y'all trying to figure out why is this important? This is important because this will help create the break beat, right? Remember, hip hop was about the break beat. So when they get the break beat, they can keep looping it. So remember, we got the music from them. We didn't create the music. We just created it. We took their music and made a creation. So that would debunk a lot of what people are saying. We did not create a music. The music was already created. That's why it's not possible for the Caribbeans and the Hispanics to be 50-50. No, the music was already created. It's just what we did with their music. We made another creation out of music that was already made. Right? Now, if you go back to if you're an old school person, you will understand what I'm saying. We didn't go to no music class. Exactly. We didn't go to no music class. Right, but we created, we was the ones that created music that was already created. Because remember, that's what it was all about, keeping the party going. We used, depending on your age bracket, your mama's music and your grandmama's music. And you went listening, that's why you hear all of these old music. You will find a little piece that's up in there, the break, and you'll keep looping it. That's why a majority of all the music that was made was sampled. It was sampled. So it's what we did with our people music. So we went back to our childhood days and we heard people like this. We heard it when it stopped. And then you added something in there or you kept looping it. Remember, we didn't even get to the part with the microphone yet. We didn't even get to the MC. Because hip hop wasn't about the MC. Hip hop was about keeping the party going. How do you keep this party going? And then you found these beats, and then you realize that people was moving to these beats. How do you keep that beat going so people can keep moving with these beats? Nobody on the microphone yet. There is nobody on the microphone yet. Because hip hop was not about the artist. It was about the music. That's why if you listen to a lot of disco songs from back in the days, them songs was really long. It was really, really long. Even Car Wash, if you listen to Car Wash, at the end, you'll see how long the songs are. Some songs is 10 minutes. Some songs is 15 minutes. That's the way, I like it. But even who? So we ain't even get to the artist yet. It's just about the music. And you had to have an ear for music. So the influence will come from what you know, right? So if it was 50-50 amongst the Caribbean, which we didn't even get to the Jamaican part yet, because majority people keep thinking when they hear Jamaican origin, they keep thinking of dancehall. Dancehall and reggae is two different things. Dancehall is later on. But when it was reggae, that was most of our music. I don't hear where they give Percy Sledge, Smokey Robinson, Percy Sledge. We got so many songs that became hits for the dancehall artists. That was our music. Their hits was covers of our song. But even who, we ain't even getting there yet. But again, hip hop is about the music. So you had to listen to this music in order to say, I'm going to pick this song, get this break beat, and I'm going to loop this for the party or the jam. And remember, we did this on a daily basis. It wasn't like it was a party here and there. If it was a spring to summer, spring to fall, if the weather was nice, baby, it was all day, every day. It was all day, every day. This is what we did every single day. This ain't no, a party here Friday. No, we did this on our own every day. We had the music. Then we had whoever played dominoes was playing dominoes. Whoever was playing spades, played spades. Whoever was playing pity pat, played pity pat. And we were dancing. And at that point, we're still dancing, but it's still not our music. It's still our parents' music. It's their records. We didn't have no records. It's their records that was at the party that we were scratching and looping. So we was listening to what they were listening to. So again, we are not influenced by Jamaica nor the Puerto Ricans. No, we're not. No. We already had this going before we was even cool like that. Now, Jamaica's a little bit more. Or if we lived in Brooklyn, right? Again, that depends on the borough you're from. The Jamaicans was not all the way in the Bronx. The Jamaicans was majority in Brooklyn. The Latinos was in certain parts of Brooklyn, but they was mainly in the Bronx. So when they came here, you have to remember, in the beginning, ain't nobody like us. Ain't nobody like the Black American. Now they Yankee this, we was plain old Yankees. It was either we was Yankee to the Caribbean people, or we was the black folks to the daggone Hispanic people. It wasn't like we just started the music and they were like, hey, let's be friends. Absolutely not. Anybody from the 60s and 70s, you tell me different. You would have to show me different. So you can't influence something if you didn't even like us. Y'all stayed by yourself. You from Brooklyn, you stayed in Flatbush. You was in the bush. You wasn't all around Brooklyn. You stayed where your majority of your people was from. We was already still outside with the music playing. In the Bronx, they was already outside with the music playing. From history, we was already dancing. We was already breaking. That is already in us. Now we love the influences by other people. We can't take that away from nobody. But we're not going to sit there and give you 50-50. No, sir. No, ma'am. We're not going to play them type of games. Because if you remove the influence from If we remove the Jamaicans and Hispanic, we will still have hip hop. If we remove them and they don't come to our party and join us, we will still have hip hop. To say y'all helped create it, that means without you guys, we wouldn't have it, but we still would have had it. Y'all just would not have been included. You just wouldn't have been included, but it was still happening. It was still going on. We just didn't call it. We just didn't call it hip hop. We was just jam. To us, we was just jamming. We was out there having a good time, but it was already happening. The speakers was already outside. It was already a DJ. When the DJ got tired and he wanted to get the people moving, that's when they said, hey, grab this microphone and be like, hey, ho, put your hands up. So now, it's like I said, it was a process. It was a process. So we have to respect the process. Shoot, everybody's into hip hop now. It's for everybody. But you ain't gonna take away from our people, our forefathers that was here already. You ain't gonna take anything away from them.
Years later, in the mid-1960s, R&B musicians created funk music. They took nearly all the same ingredients of hard bop, like certain rhythms and chords. They were putting less emphasis on a melody and chord progression, but instead created a repeating groove that interlocks with the other instruments. The repetition of the groove, when played either slow or faster, creates somewhat of a hypnotic quality. In 1968, Pigmeat Markham released his song, Here Comes the Judge. Pigmeat was an entertainer known for his stand-up comedy and had a regular routine where he played the role of a judge for satire. He decided to turn that routine into a comedy song that uses funk elements. His vocal delivery on this to what we would consider Pigmeat utilized scat like.
Did you hear his style? Did you hear the music? Did you hear the music that he was singing? Did you hear the rap? Did you hear? Because we've always did this. That was our regular street talk. That was black folks in America. That was our regular street talk. I didn't say trucking all that job. That was our job talk. That's what we did. See, that was natural to us. Only thing we had to do was start combining it. And that's hip hop, actually. The way we talked in the street, we always had a little rhyme. Then you put the little music in from my parents, you just beat it. So again, here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to go there. So now I want y'all to hear, Here Comes the Judge, right?
Chance in his delivery instead of focusing on a melody. This might be everything had led to a Jamaican. Eventually, one of his friends, nicknamed Coke La Rock, started attending his parties and became the first MC to hop on the mic. His rap started out as simple shout-outs to people in the crowd, but gradually poetry began to emerge in the performance.
Now, we're going to keep this going. We're going to keep this going, baby. We're going to keep this going. Now, we're going to take a trip. Before we get back to that, we're going to take a trip down doo-wop, right? Now, we're going to see if doo-wop and hip-hop have anything in common. Let's see if doo-wop and hip-hop have anything in common. I told you. Let's go. This is by Jeffrey Stillwell. Jeffrey Stillwell. Let's go.
rich, multi-layered harmonies, much like a barbershop quartet.
No matter when it will be one day, I know we'll be.
They used orchestrated skit. Now, technically, doo-wop proper is said to have started.
Now, this would be an accurate picture of back in the days. Again, except for this would not be my era. But again, all we did was follow our forefathers. It would be like I said, it would be somebody who lived on the first floor, right? They would be out there. We on the corner. We would be on the corner, and we'll take the extension cords and connect it to their house. And then somebody would bring the turntables outside. This would be this. All of this is part of hip hop. This would absolutely be part of hip hop. This would be, again, this is not my era. This would be the doo-wop era. But again, it's similar. It's the same thing. It would be the same exact thing, except for every generation gets different. It get a little different, but it's the same thing. We're always outside on the corner. Where's hip hop? Outside on the corner. A bunch of people just sitting around. Okay, you go first. And then we were scattered because we didn't have the music. So when we didn't have the music, we created the music with our mouth. That's why they keep saying the word scattering. That's when you made it with your mouth. Let's go.
Started in the late 1940s in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and LA. Groups of young black men would gather to sing on street corners and subways and school locker rooms.
Groups of young people would gather to sing on the streets. Isn't that hip hop? Subways. Isn't that hip hop? Remember, hip hop, we were groups. Majority was groups or posses or whatever you want to call it. Same freaking history. I don't know where this 50-50 come from, but let's go.
Wherever they could be heard, and with nothing but their voices. And that's why you got these rich harmonies. You see, the 1950s saw the height of segregation in America, and often black musicians couldn't afford the expensive instruments to make the swing music they were hearing on the radio.
Again, just like hip hop, we could not afford music or music instruments. Right? We could not afford it. So we did what we could do. We couldn't afford it. Just like hip hop, wasn't no music classes. We couldn't learn instruments. So we followed behind our doo-wop. Remember doo-wop, hip hop? All they did was make doo-wop hip hop. That is it. I mean, y'all making it, y'all bringing all this unnecessary history that doesn't have nothing to do with us. It may make y'all feel like y'all a part of it, but no, you came to our party. It's okay. Y'all all visitors. But do y'all play a part? Heck yes. We can't take anything away from anybody. But we is not going to give you, no, you're not going to change the history books and say y'all 50-50. No, sir.
Videos. So they used their voices. US. And by no means was Judy Garland. These were independents. Her lead singer, Sonny Till. He was a big deal. After Sinatra, he was like the world's first rock star. These are among the first accounts of girls throwing underwear onto stage, way before Elvis or the Beatles.
I know. We're going to give it to Elvis. This is 1948 to 1954. Again, they took the rock and roll from us. They took the jazz from us. And now they want to take hip hop from us. It ain't. I'm sorry. We're not going down like that. It's not happening.
No one had ever been so famous just for being so sexy.
Does she love? Is it all?
Multi-layered harmonies. It soon found a new audience in both white culture
Now they start.
and, more importantly, in the teenagers of America.
Now, again, once we start something, everybody draw to it and said it's them. Once we start something, everybody draws to it and say it's them. They change the whole fucking face. Like from the beginning to now, every time they're changing the face. Let's continue on this journey, right? Let's continue on this journey. I'm gonna skip through a lot of this stuff. Y'all want to check out the whole videos? Go to History Student. Go to everybody who was named.
But they were not creators of anything.
Now let's go.
Black America.
This is
hip hop.
Again, this is videos coming from History Student. I'm not playing the whole video. You guys can always go and check out the whole video.
That it was created by Black and Puerto Ricans. We're saying no, we created it. Puerto Ricans, a few Puerto Ricans simply saw what we were doing and started doing what we were doing. And I remember when I was young, I used to see people outside of the Black community doing the same thing. You always got some Mexican, white guy somewhere hanging around the Black people, dancing like Black people. You always had these people sprinkled here and there. But they were not creators of anything. Black Americans, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant, Black Americans are the most copied, emulated people aside from the ancient Egyptians.
Hey, Puzzles.
After the ancient Egyptians, it's Black Americans, hands down. And let me tell you something. Black Americans copy and emulate no one. No one. And this whole narrative is rooted in people's overall lack of respect for Black people as a group and their lack of respect for our culture. But the truth is, the vast majority, almost all Puerto Ricans in the early mid-70s were racist. Racist. And this is according to the earliest Puerto Ricans who they named, like Charlie Chase. Now, somebody shared this on Twitter. I thought this was interesting. But before I get started, let me touch on something else. Influence. As Black Americans, we were influenced by white Americans. We were influenced by white people. Take Christianity, for example. If you go into a Black church and then go into a white church, it's like night and day. The energy, the spirit, the song, the dance, the form, the style of preaching, it's like night and day. I've heard several white people say that they were blown away the first time they went into an all-Black church. We were influenced by them, but we turned it into our own thing. But you can still see the influence. In regard to hip hop, I'm telling Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans, you could not have participated in creating hip hop because before hip hop, you were not hip. You were not a hip, smooth, cool group of people. The whole concept of being hip is Black Americans. And what we are looking at right now is Jamaicans and Puerto Ricans playing dumb. Hip hop did not just pop up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spinoff from funk,
jazz, and everything else, my brother.
Could y'all create something so hip? And those of you around my age range, I'm 45. I was born in 1977. You remember those early rap songs?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they sampling?
Mm-hmm.
Nonstop. I remember playing rap music, hearing my mother, my uncles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's an old song.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
They got, do you know how many songs, old soul records, funk, jazz records,
yep,
Black Americans were sampling in the early stages of hip hop?
That's like I said earlier. You could not have participated in the music because technically, when we did hip hop, we didn't create the music. We used our parents and grandparents in their music. Remember, they forget to tell you that even though it started in New York City, the part that they forget to tell you is our origins is from the South. Our origins come from the South. Then we migrated all over the other parts of America. But we, like, from the Mississippi, the Carolinas, all of us got some family member down south. If you is from the matter of fact, that would be everybody. It'd be my grandparents or my parents. It may be somebody's great grandmama, so the music that we played in New York City wasn't like it was New York City music. It was music that our parents played. We was playing their music. We were playing their music. We created something out of something. I can't say something out of nothing, but we didn't have music classes. And in the early 70s, there was no relationship with the Black American people. The people just didn't like us. The Caribbeans called us Yankees. I mean, I want to be with the Yankees. No, they didn't want to be none about them Yankees. Right? And then you had the Hispanic people. I want to be with them Morenos and calling us all type of feos and all these other type of things. They were scared of our hair. See, I don't need to read nothing. I remember I was there. I remember when we was young and when they started coming into the city a little bit more, I remember us trying to be their friend. I don't know if you kids. I remember they had to talk to us in the hallway because we were not allowed in their house because we were Black people. We didn't know. So when we say, hey, Mom, that's our friend, they was let in our house and whatever we drank, they drank. But when we knocked on their door, they told us, we got to talk to you in the hallway. There was a lot of racism there. A lot. But we still kept creating because we had funk, we had jazz. And like I said, the same origins of hip hop will be the same origins of doo-wop. It came from out of nothing. We couldn't, same thing. We couldn't afford the music. We didn't have no instruments. We had nothing. So a lot of that stuff was created right on the street. It was right on the street. That's why they said the word scatting. Wasn't no music. You did it the bop, the bop, the bop, the bop, the bop, the bop. That's what all the bop, bop, bops. And then why I showed you guys earlier in the music where you heard like certain type of music, that's because they was creating what you call a they didn't create, the music was there already. We found what you call break beats, and we looped, we saw the people dancing. And again, I keep forgetting, if y'all think, oh, New York people, no, we had it just as bad in New York City. Brooklyn didn't go to the Bronx. Bronx didn't go to Queens. Everybody stayed in their own little barrel, unless you went to go visit a family member or something. So just because something happened in the Bronx, that doesn't mean it was happening in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has their own story. Everybody has their own story, but we did the same thing. We just didn't get the credit. We let the Bronx get the credit. We gave it to y'all. Yes, exactly, Puzzles. Exactly. So we was bringing the music outside too. We had a DJ. It was always a DJ in New York, period. It was always a DJ. We all had parties. That's what poor folks did. They did that in the 70s. They did it in the 60s. They did it in the 50s. Remember the little juke bars they used to go to? They used to get their little juke on. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have, but then again, they took all the juke bars away. So at least our forefathers had little places they can go. But when it got down to the late 60s and 70s, especially, I don't know about other places, but in New York, we did not. Especially if you was young and you was an adolescent, we had nowhere to go. So we went outside. We went outside, and somebody, I told you, started from the speaker, used to be in the window. And then as more people came, then somebody bought the music outside, and we used the electricity from whomever lived on the first floor. We asked them, can we use your electricity? And if they paid we didn't even make it to the park yet. The park is another whole entire different scene. But depending on where you live, you was too young to even go to the park. You had to stay where your mama window was at. So we're going to finish this. So like I said, everybody enjoys, but we're not going to take anything away from our forefathers. We're not going to do that. We are not. We're not going to disrespect the people who participated in hip hop, but we're not going to give you 50-50. We cannot give you 50-50. No. That's just like me saying, well, you know what? Because I add a little bebop to salsa now, I want 50-50 of salsa. Yeah, it's not going to happen. But do we enjoy it? Yes. Well, let's carry on.
It was like non-stop. And they would rap over the same beat. Speaking of that, how many of y'all remember this? Was that not Al Green?
Yep.
Busta Rhymes just straight up copied Al Green's, and that's not the only song of Busta Rhymes where they're sampling nothing. It's like strictly Black American music. And now I know Puerto Ricans are not trying to claim that they invented soul. Y'all not trying to claim that you invented funk. You can always trace a people's history. And with hip hop, all you have to do is look at the music that was created before hip hop to find out who created it and exactly where that music came from. Y'all sitting up here
Oh, we can
playing
still
dumb,
dance, baby.
and it's not going down.
You can still dance.
Now, somebody shared this on Twitter. He said, while FBAs were creating hip hop, Puerto Ricans and Caribbean immigrants were running around New York wearing swastikas. The savage nomads. Huh?
Yeah, that part is true. I told you, they didn't like us.
And y'all created hip hop? Do you know hip hop in its earliest stages really revolved around James Brown?
No, not just James Brown.
The breaking, the robot, and it's not just James Brown.
Exactly. It wasn't.
We've been breakdancing and rhyming since the early 1900s.
That would be true.
I'm talking about the 20s,
That would be
30s,
true.
40s, 50s.
Yep, that's how we talk.
We've been breakdancing. We've been rapping.
Mm-hmm.
You look at your music, your culture in those early days, you don't even have a speck of hip. Nothing is hip.
Like I said, I can't play the whole video.
Now here's Fat Joe on the what is it? Breakfast Club on Black people. And those Puerto Ricans who were hanging around Black people, they were outcasts among Puerto Ricans.
That part of be
they
true.
were mocked.
That was true.
We got the receipts.
Yep, that is true. Because I remember in the 70s, I remember like, and when a lot of them was coming to New York City, I remember, hey, let's play, you know, we kids. And if some of them played with us, then the rest of them were like, oh, you a ninja lover. Every time somebody play with us, you a ninja lover. And they continue to, some of them, I give it to a lot of my Hispanic people. They still continue to play with us. We were freaking kids. You know, we didn't understand. I mean, we understood race from the Black people, but when the Hispanics got here, you know, besides if you was Caucasian or whatever, when y'all didn't understand it the way we understood it on our own homeland. We would see if y'all came from another land, you may understand it, but it's hard to understand it on your own land. Like, hold up. So a lot of them were ostracized because they did play with us. You know, but you know, again, we already had the radios outside. We was already dancing. We was already, hey, give me 5 on the black hand side. You know, we always had that little type of slang to us. So we did get along. Yeah. Yeah, yes, we did. But I'm at that again, early 70s and 60s, they did not like the Black American people. They was already told whatever that they was told not to like us. We was negros and morenos. We was feo, and they talked about our hair and all. Heck yeah, I used to whip me some. Yeah, so exactly, puzzles. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They talked about our hair, and then you had some Hispanic people that were more of the Caucasian looking side. They changed their names, especially the ones who went into like the army or whatever. They changed their names to the American name. What's up, Pokemon? What's up, baby? They changed their name. So if their name was Miguel, now they're Michael. You know, whatever their American name was, they legally changed their name. So you didn't even know that they were Puerto Rican. And then a lot of them, some Puerto Ricans didn't even know that they was talking to other Puerto Ricans. And they doubted, they was talking about, I mean, some of them turned on their own people. They got rid of the name, they got rid of the accent. And then they thought they was too good for the regular, their own people. Mm-hmm. And then as they aged, then they said, hey, I'm Latina. But a lot of them who can pass for white was not calling themselves Latina. They was calling themselves Caucasian. They was checking the box as Caucasian. They've been in America long enough where they even was around Caucasian people to get rid of the accent. Right? Like, how many people, unless they told you, you would not know Charlie Sheen is of Spanish descent? People didn't even put together that Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez are brothers. It took a while for people to find this out. But Emilio said, no, I'm not getting rid of my my Spanish heritage. But Charlie Sheen and he took after his father. Right? He took after his father. So they went under Sheen. Because back in them days, he wanted to be an actor. So he could pose as a Caucasian man. A lot of people did not know that whatever Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen, nobody knew Martin Sheen was Spanish descent. Charlie Sheen decided to say, hey, I'm going to keep this European thing going on because I'm getting these movies. Emilio said, no, I'm going to keep my heritage. That's a perfect example of how you would not know. You would not know. You wouldn't know. When you see Charlie Sheen, you're not thinking of a Spanish man. You're thinking of a Caucasian man. Right? I'm talking, well, I don't know your age bracket, but we talk about the early 60s, from the 60s to the 70s. But even the ones that was here in the 50s, especially the ones that was here in the 50s, a lot of them go under Caucasian, but they're not. So can you imagine them liking us, black folks? No. But let's carry on.
And they were racist. What are you doing hanging with those Negroes?
See?
With Moreno.
Yep, I just said that. Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear this narrative there since the beginning.
No, sir.
No, this music genre came out of an entire culture. A whole culture contributed to hip hop. It wasn't just an idea that popped into somebody's head. In order for you to have created hip hop, you would have had to been into the music that gave birth to hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And that is funk. Puerto Ricans had nothing to do with funk. The whole rhythm that we used for hip hop came out of funk.
Not just funk.
All right, now let's finish this clip from Fat. He does a lot of babbling on here.
Again, y'all gonna have to catch that. I'm not gonna play the whole.
We got to stop inviting people into our culture. It's unfortunate, but the fact is, people will try to steal it.
They don't throw everything.
Be specific, trying to push this narrative.
Since day one, there was Asians, there was white people there, there was this and they.
What is he mean? What is he talking about? Asians, Puerto Ricans, white people there. They're where? They wasn't inside our homes. Y'all wasn't inside of our homes where we created this music. This type of nonsensical babble cannot be the basis upon which they try to claim that they helped create. It's not. Hip hop, and I don't even like saying hip hop. Hard about saying that and accepting that. Don't try to talk sideways. We helped create it. No, stop. The only reason why you would have a hard time admitting that he would go to some parts and it was rare to see a Puerto Rican dancing. My fellow Black Americans, we always had that group of Black people who said, y'all need to stop allowing these people to copy us, to be copycats, to emulate us. It was always a group of black.
It was rare to see a Puerto Rican dancer.
Rare to see a Puerto Rican dancer. Now, how is it rare to see a Puerto Rican dancer if Puerto Ricans helped to create it? The only way a group of people can create something. And so when the Puerto Ricans start dancing, they be like, uh-oh, look at this. Your culture. Big Pun said this. Black people have always been the hip people on the dance floor, boogie woogieing. We had all the elements. We had the rhythm. We had the style. We had everything necessary already to create hip hop. And our dance, song, music prior to hip hop bears witness to who created it. Y'all gonna stop playing dumb. Eventually, people are going to be ashamed to be associated with your narrative, whether they're black or Puerto Rican, because you have no argument. Now look at this. This is 1950s.
Yeah, you knew to cut that music off.
Huh? What do you see here? This is essentially breaking. Y'all remember MC Hammer? Tell me when y'all see the MC Hammer. Huh? Y'all see that? This is 1950s. See, breaking didn't start. Excuse me. Breaking didn't start in the 70s.
It started before the 1950s.
It was hip hop, breaking, hip hop, whatever you want to call it, it was the tail end of Black American culture.
Mm-hmm.
The tail end. All of the elements had always been. Us and you didn't create breaking, rapping, nothing. Y'all wasn't even dancing on beat. You wasn't even. What are you doing playing that Jungle Bunny music?
Yeah, I heard that too.
They were really opposed to me doing this, because they said, you're Latino, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're Latino. Do what you're supposed to do. First of all, we influenced us. There's no way possible a genre like hip hop can come out of this.
Now, I love that old salsa now. I love me some old salsa. Beautiful.
First of all, we don't understand what they're saying. Second of all, they're not rhyming. There's no rhythm. You try to cut a James Brown or Zapp and Roger, whatever. You cut that music off at a party and start playing this, you're going to get beat up. It's like this. It's no way possible for you to create a genre like hip hop. Jamaicans created hip hop. Really? Was y'all was playing this? Y'all remember that? Wait a minute. This is that song. What? None of these songs rhyme. Oh, no, we ain't feeling that. I'm speaking for Black Americans right now. We ain't feeling that. We never feel it. My uncles, my parents, my grandparents, they wasn't feeling that. I'm telling you that now. Your grandparents was feeling that. And there's no way anybody who was feeling that gonna create no hip hop.
I never said
y'all need to just accept y'all's place in history.
I don't know,
as tag-alongs, as copycats.
We can go through that one day, though.
A group of people who was shaped their existence around.
The thing is this, right? Even with Hispanic people, some of their music came. Remember, we all was on a slave boat, right? We all came from the slave boat. right? But when they put us in put someone in the Caribbean, and then you have some that was put here. So certain rhythms that we do have come out of Africa, right? But the difference is they beat Africa out of us, right? They beat Africa out of us. But one thing we all have in common, if you have any of the African, see, a lot of times they forget. That's why I don't like to go Afro-Latina. You understand what I'm saying? Even though I can understand why they say that, because they separated it again. If you had African blood in you, they separated you. They separated you. And you have to remember, back in the days, not our days, but these are centuries ago, they didn't go North America, South America, Central America. They just said the Americas, right? They just said the Americas. So we wasn't even split up. It wasn't like USA. It was the Americas. So a lot of Spanish people were there too, because it was considered the Americas. So they had some of us was here in North America. Then we got, don't forget, we got South America, we got Central America. But back in like the 1500s, it was all called the Americas. So a lot of them that was brought there because of the Spaniards. Remember, you had the Spaniards, you had the French, you had England, Spanish, French, England, and there's one more. And that Spanish, French, England. And there's one more I'm missing. But there was like the main 4 countries that influenced all of our language, right? They influenced all of our language, right? So even the people who speak Spanish, Spanish would not be your native tongue. That's Spaniards' language. They forced you guys to speak Spanish. Just like if you have Haiti and you have Dominican Republic. But they were once one. So the Spaniards took half. So now the Dominicans speak Spanish and the French took the other half. So the Haitians speak another language. But at one point in time, they spoke the same language before it was separated, right? So all these countries did a job on all of these main countries did a job on all of us. So Spanish is not your native tongue. No more than English is my native tongue. That's why even some Spanish people, depending on where you're from, certain words are different. Certain words are different. Like a lot of words are the same, but again, depending on where you come from, certain words are different. That's why sometimes you have to know who you're talking to. You gotta know who you're talking to. You know, Dominicans may call a fruit one thing, and somebody may call a fruit another thing, but it's the same damn fruit. We call it orange, you call it this, you call it that, you call it that. Blah, 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 blah. Right? So here in America, a lot of that was beat out of us, and we didn't take on the culture of the oppressor, but a lot of them took on the culture of the oppressor. See, that would be the difference of the Black Americans compared to the other Afro cultures that been to different places. Like Spanish, like I said, the Spanish, the people that the Africans or whatever that was dropped off in like Colombia, Puerto Rico, what is that? Panama, Honduras, and all them different Spanish speak. They took on the culture of the oppressor. The Haitians took on their culture. Black Americans, they beat us so bad We just made up. We made up our own culture. That would be like the only difference. We didn't take on the culture of the English people. We nothing like England. That would be the oppressor that brought us here and forced us to speak their language. We never took on their culture. We created our own cultures. Even when one point we had to go to their church. The minute they kicked us out of their church and we had to start our own church, you would see immediately we dropped that sucker real quick. We dropped that sucker real quick, baby. Now we got a chance to sing what was in us and act how we want to act. And then the things, because of slavery and things like that, we just developed a thing called a slang. Because again, we couldn't we couldn't read, we couldn't write. So a lot of things we made a slang. We had to speak the words the best way we could. So a lot of time, only us understood the slang, which where people may say, call people today uneducated and you need to know how to speak English and blah, 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 blah. But in all reality, that's passed down through our forefathers. You're not dumb. You just had to learn a way to speak to each other. So even with the West Indians, the Jamaicans and them, all of them too. Like we may think that all of them sound alike, but they have a different accent also. But again, the American folks, we made our own culture, our own dance, our own rhythm, our own blues. It's like we just did it. We just said once we was able to break, we was like F all of that. But all the other places took on the culture of their oppressor. Now let's go.
Now, another group of people. Are you ashamed of that? Is that what it is? Stop, man. Again, in order to influence us, we have to participate in your culture. Now listen to this. Listen to this dude. Get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Now I don't know what he said there, but he did not rhyme. And let me tell you, if you don't rhyme, Black Americans are not going to feel you. Mm-hmm. At no point in time would we feel you if you're not even rhyming. Black people since the earliest days we were almost defined by the people who always rhyme when we talk. What is this? I mean, how could they listen to this and publicize it?
All right, I'm gonna skip this. I don't feel like these copyright strikes.
That's the standard today, where you rhyme every 4 seconds. That's a bar. Not only was Puerto Ricans not rhyming, they didn't even know what no bar was. They were not emceeing in bar increments at all. What are you talking about? Okay, why are we even having a discussion if this is 1968?
Well, that's before 1968, but carry on.
There's nothing to even talk about. And I don't want to further embarrass the
Jill Scott Hearn.
Okay,
yes.
What is this? Let's listen to this together for the first time.
The fact that millions and millions of dollars are continually sent into outer space while we continue to face the same problems here on the ground. Poem said, a rat done bit my sister Nell. with Whitey on the moon, and her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know the man just upped my rent last night because Whitey's on the moon.
Okay, I don't know what he's talking about.
He's showing
Let's
you
slide
the
on
rhyme.
past that. Nope.
He's showing you the storytelling part of hip hop because people forget. But even if not just bars, it's storytelling, right? So yeah, but before Jill Scott Heron, we had what is his name? Ooh. When I'm gonna remember the name, but he was out before Jill Scott Heron, right? And
What is this?
well, we can signify
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
I'm telling y'all, we need to boycott
No.
the hip hop. Funky enough to create something like hip hop. Where did he come from? Where would that Puerto Rican, those 2-3 Puerto Ricans, where on earth could they have come from if they wasn't influenced directly from us? It don't even make sense, the arguments that they try to put up here. Here he is again. Ain't this Charlie Chase? Who is this? This Charlie.
And then the Hispanics were telling me, what the hell are you doing, man? What are you doing playing that Jungle Bunny music, And
okay. They asked him, why was he playing that Jungle Bunny music? And it goes back to Kool Herc as well. A lot of these people like to bring up Kool Herc. Kool Herc, his contribution was exactly the same as the Puerto Ricans. He came into a different country, the United States. He latched on to a different culture. And he started to play our cultural music. Stop right there. There's no way he could have invented anything. You go to another people's country and you start to play their native music, and you simply extend one small portion of their song, there's no way you can claim to have created. And what is that? What that have to do with rapping? That's not even rapping. That's just a style of DJing, extending the break. So where'd the rapping come from? It did not come from those stupid chants. Yes, 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 y'all, and you don't stop. Black Americans have been rapping for a very long time. So listen, just like I told the Jamaicans, if you want to claim to have invented hip hop, I want to hear Puerto Ricans rapping before 1968 on wax. Find the film anywhere you can find it of Puerto Ricans rapping. I don't care if it's in Spanish or English. Show me where, at what point in your history were you funky? Early hip hop was basically rapping over funk. Rappers Delight, that's funk, that's a funk beat.
That's disco. That's disco.
Another thing.
That's disco.
Name the Puerto Rican pioneers of funk. In my opinion, the true originator of hip hop was James Brown.
No.
When you talk about breakdancing, much of that was these kids putting spins on James Brown moves.
We did a lot of our parents' song, homie.
They would sort of elaborate
Got the Honey
on
Dippers,
James Brown
Impeach the President.
moves,
Shit.
on top of listening to James Brown music.
Nah, it was all of the music.
Where was the Puerto Rican version of James Brown, of funk, of soul,
Got them Honey
of
Dippers,
rhythm and
Impeach
blues,
the President.
of rhythm, period, of being hip? What are we talking about? No, those days. Boycott the hip hop awards this year is insulting, and especially after Fat Joe has kicked up so much controversy, he's definitely not qualified to be the host ever.
See, yeah, he is the most sampled. Yes, sir. He is the most sampled. But far as getting a party started and stuff, remember, that's when hip hop started sampling. I'm talking about before they were sampling. It was majority of break beats. So we took a break beat from anything and looped it. That's what we did. We took a break beat, but certain things, again, a lot of key things is left out, right? A lot of key things are left out, right? Because the way they talk is like, oh, they had the speakers, they had the, if we didn't have it, something happened to put hip hop where it's at. Something happened, and that's one thing none of them talk about. None of them talk about this one major thing that happened. If it wasn't for this one major thing, hip hop would not be where it's at today. Even to get to the part where the sample and all this other stuff, something happened that, and nobody talks about that. And I'm going to wait for somebody. I'm going to wait for somebody to bring it up. Scratching started by me. Okay, I get you. But again, something happened to get hip hop. Exactly. Why nobody brings this up? Nobody brings this up. That is if it wasn't for that blackout right there, hip hop would not be where it's at today. All these machines and stempling and all this other stuff, if it wasn't for that blackout and them robbing all them stars, you wouldn't have had a machine to do nothing. We couldn't afford nothing. Baby, after that blackout, we had the best black parties ever. I'm telling you. The best black parties ever. They was able to get all the equipment that they needed, right? Even in the sampling machines, all the different machines, they could not afford these things. So it was a difference from hip hop before 1977 and then after 1977. I like you, the messenger. You must be listening to one of my other videos, but it's all good though. Yes, and yes. So if you is a historian and you talk about hip hop, and I'll never forget you ain't never lied. Tell it, Miss Rod. Tell it. If you can't mention that blackout, then you are not hip hop. You are not hip hop at all. Because it wouldn't have went nowhere until them lights went out. And baby, every borough is different. Oh, you're a Philly DJ? That's all right. We all was rolling together. But you better let them people know, Mr. D. Hey, Mr. DJ, we can get this started. But even a lot of DJs don't know that. They don't know, but baby, after that blackout, we had the best parties ever. Baby, I'm telling you, they was cutting and scratching the letters of his name. And it wasn't even really that much scratching and stuff yet because they had to learn how to use all this new stuff they stole, right? They had to learn how to use all these things that they stole from these stores, right? And the second the second thing, besides the blackout, was the one major thing was them burning down New York. Who forget that when they started burning down New York, especially the Bronx, that gave us something to write about, right? They was trying to get us out of here, but now it's called regentification. So instead of them burning us out, they outpricing us, but they want us back down south, right? They want us back down south where we started from. But when they started burning us out and we flipping on the mattresses, we had nothing to do. Well, baby, it was a whole new different story after that blackout. We seen what talk about block parties, baby. Now them were some real black parties. See, people when they be like, oh, they had that in Jamaica. No, they had speakers, but they didn't have them type of speakers because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it. So some stuff, yeah, they had speakers outside, but not like the ones we stole. Not like the ones we stole, God damn it. Y'all didn't even have them type of stores, right? Y'all didn't have them type of stores. Once it's our history. Oh, messenger out. You gotta learn them people. You gotta learn them. You cannot speak upon hip-hop history without talking about that blackout. Baby, talk about bass. We was outside in the summertime. You couldn't tell us nothing, baby. Couldn't tell us nothing. And it's crazy because even back then, Jersey and Philly, that's why you don't never really hear, besides like house music, which was New York and Philly, but the real good stuff came out of Philly. But even though the DJ started in New York and moved his ass to Philly, and then that's when the real break beats started coming in, boy. That house music wasn't no joke. But you would never hear them three arguing. You would never hear New York, New Jersey, and Philly. Like the tri-state area, you won't really hear them arguing too much because we used to like roll from spot to spot to spot. Like you from New York, you was in Philly. That's why, our music is sort of kind of like the same because we was hopping from each spot. And that would have to do with this thing called crack wasn't out yet, but they were still selling drugs back then. So because you were selling the drugs, you went to either New Jersey or you went to Philly to drop off whatever drugs you dropped off. And as you was dropping that off, you also dropped off this thing called a mixtape, right? You also dropped off this thing called a mixtape, right? And they put the mixtape in there, or you gave the mixtape to whatever DJ, like a school DJ or whoever was giving a party. You would say, hey, put this tape in, and vice versa. They would come back to New York, gave us this thing. So the drug dealers did more than just sell drugs. They also put them tapes out there, right? They take this tape. Oh, this DJ such and such. Oh, that's DJ such and such. That got to be added too in the history. So it's not even all about just naming people. It's about the experience. And what you don't really hear is the experience from regular people, right? Because that's what hip hop really is. It's about your experience. It's about your story. It's really not about the people. It's about the music. But again, you got to put some names in these books, right? A name have to go in the history books. But it's a shame all the DJs from all the boroughs would never be named. Because it was a lot. Herc was not the only DJ. It was a DJ for every part of the hood. Whatever hood you was from, it was a damn DJ. And we didn't know what the heck Herc was doing in the Bronx. We was in Brooklyn. People was in Brooklyn. They still had a DJ. People in Jersey still had a DJ. But their names would never be spoken of. They make it seem like once Herc did a party, the whole world knew. The whole world didn't know nothing. We was doing our own thing, had our own DJs and everything. But again, hip hop would not be hip hop without that blackout. But we are going to continue this because I want to do a panel because I want regular people to talk about their experience because that's what hip hop is really about. Your experience. It ain't about who did it first because we all got Southern origins. I don't have to argue with somebody that's from Atlanta. No, all of us got Southern origins. I'm saying it completely wrong, but you know what I'm saying, right? We ain't gotta argue. We are all the same people. We are the same people. So did they do it the way we did it? No. Did we put a little extra spin on it? Yes. Did we rock that microphone? Yes. But we still took the music from our Southern people, and even doo-wop. That started in New York too. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it ironic? That started in the Bronx. Doo-wop started in the Bronx. Every time you turn around, we on them streets, right? we on them corners. We on them corners. Them corners produced a lot of stuff. Yes, yes. We didn't have to go to a spot in New York. All you had to do is come outside. That's how congested it is. Until they try to burn us out. They try to burn us up. They done burnt them buildings all up in the Bronx. But like I said, we're going to continue this because I want a panel and I want to hear about you guys. I want to hear about your experience too, The Messenger. One day you're going to have to come up here. You want to hear about your experience as a Philly DJ. If you are part of the history too. And I have spoke upon hip hop before. You're the only one and the first one who brought up the goddamn blackout. Everybody else forget about that. That is part of the history. But I am out of here. I'm going to go over to the other side. I will see y'all on the other side of the YouTube streets, baby. I ain't finished yet, but it will be a part 2 to this. And again, I would like to hear your guys' experience, what you guys went through, what you guys saw, because if we still living, we need to tell our stories too. How are you going to sit up there and let everybody else tell the story? A lot of them wasn't even born when we was born. You know what I'm saying? Why are we listening to their history? No, Ninja, we still living. We know what went down too. We remember before you was all these clubs y'all naming. At one point, we was all too young to get in them clubs. We was doing it right in the streets, right on the corner. If you lived in the PJs, you was doing it inside of your PJ. If you was by a park, you was at the park. If not, you was doing it right in front of your building. Stop acting like, remember this club, remember that club. A lot of us, when the hip hop was out, we was too young to get into them damn clubs. Stop it. That's when hip hop got a little bit older. Then you was playing at clubs. But before you was playing at clubs, your ass was right outside like everybody else, listening to them cutting and scratching the music. Damn it. And it wasn't no DJ. I mean, no MC. We ain't had no MC. It was just the DJ spinning the music and us partying before somebody even grabbed the microphone. So hip hop really takes place before somebody had the microphone. We won't talk about them days. All right, I'm out of here. We're going to continue this. We're going to have a part 2. Peace, and I am out.